Hello, everybody. I am Keaton, and this is Kid Catholic Season 13, Episode 2. I hope that you all are having an absolutely wonderful Tuesday so far. I know that I am. Now, guys, I know that we don't like to talk about it. I know that we don't like to think about it. I don't either. The school year is coming up. It is. For me, school's going to be happening next week, which is probably on the earlier side than most of you. But at least for most of us, school is coming up soon. In August, beginning of August, as we're closing out the summer, it's a time of a lot of change. It's a time of a lot of newness. I don't know if newness is a word, but it's going to be now. It is, right? No, it is. That was a dumb thing to say. Anyway, for some of us, it might be a bigger change than others. Like, for example, going into freshman year in college, freshman year in high school, that's going to be a bigger jump than sophomore to junior year. But either way, it's change, right? For me, going into senior year, that's a change. That's something different. I'm going to have to make a bigger jump next year when I go to college. But even then, like going into senior year is a jump from junior year. There's change, there's newness, and some of us more than others. Now, it depends on the person, but I personally have never been a big fan of change. I don't really like change. I like to keep things a certain way, keep it the way that it is, have that routine, and that way I don't have to worry. But the reality is, whether you're like that or not, we can all agree that life doesn't work like that. God doesn't work like that. Changes in our lives happen, and we have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to get used to it. Whether it's a negative change or a positive change, we need to get used to it. But so often, why this is so hard for so many of us is because we try to do it on our own. Just like a lot of other things, we try to do it without God. We try to do it without God's help. And I am very much guilty of this as well. If we think that going into the new school year, we might be able to handle the difficulties we might endure, the challenges we might face, the changes as a whole, without God, then we've lost our mind, right? Now, I'm not trying to say that this school year is going to be just an awful, terrible thing. Like, no, obviously not. Obviously, there are pros and cons of starting a new school year. For me, I'm more excited than anything else, but still a little bit nervous because it's change, right? And I told you, I don't like change. Regardless, I need God with me. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by we need to take God with us into this new school year? Because God is always with us. God is everywhere. God is present in the Eucharist, but he's also everywhere all the time, right? Like time and space, that's not a thing for him. He lives outside of that. He is above that. He is omniscient and omnipotent. That means all-knowing and all-powerful. God is above everything. So yes, he's always with us, but what I mean by that is carry a relationship with God into this school year. Because let's face it, it's hard to go to school and be Catholic. Even harder is to go to school and be proud of that Catholicism, be vocal of that Catholicism. That is a difficult thing to do. It just is. When the world, when school, when society, when people are telling us that we don't need God to be happy, that we should do whatever makes us happy, then yeah, change is going to be scary. Because that does correlate. I know it sounds like different things. It does correlate directly. Because if we have a relationship with God, that change becomes a lot less scary. And it becomes a lot more comfortable. Now, I'm not saying that if we build a relationship with God, suddenly all of our problems in the world will go away like that. No. But it certainly will help. I'm also not saying that in our school when we go to and when we're proud of our Catholicism that we should try to force it upon anybody, give a homily anytime anybody walks up to us. No, absolutely not. Nor should we only be friends with those who are Catholic. Like me, even going to a Catholic school, I still have plenty of friends from my school who are not Catholic, and that's a great thing. That is a phenomenal thing. I'm more friends outside of school even that aren't Catholic, and that's an okay thing. That's a phenomenal thing. That's a great thing. Regardless, we need to know who we are surrounding ourselves with at school. We need to know what influence those people have on us, and we need to know what impact we have in other people's lives by acting the way we do. This time should be a time of self-reflection. The time before the school year begins, going into the new school year, should be a time of self-reflection, looking at ourselves, seeing who we are as a person, our faith. What is it like? Are we going to be able to stay strong in our faith this school year? Why not? What might we need in order to do so? What tools could we get from the Catholic Church, like the sacraments, like the Eucharist, which is a sacrament, but you get what I'm saying, God himself? What do we need to be able to remain strong within our faith despite heading into the school year? It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But what stays the same for everybody, the specifics, I should say, the specifics are going to be a little bit different for everybody, but what stays the same for everybody is the reality that God is essential to change. Not just change when it comes to the new school year, but change in general. Maybe we're moving houses. Maybe we're moving places. Maybe we're jumping from a JV team to a varsity team, right? No matter how little, no matter how big, maybe we got a new job. No matter how little, no matter how big the change, especially for people like me who change isn't comfortable for me. I don't really like it. We need God with us. We need to know that God has a plan for our lives. What he's doing in our life is for a reason. God has a plan for you, and he has a plan for me. And while his plans for both of us may take some different routes, they end up at the same place, and that's heaven. I know that sounds cliche. I know that may sound cringy. I don't care, because it's the truth. It just is accurate, and we need to know that. We need to know that this school year is a chance for us to be better. It's a chance for us to grow. Yes, grow as a person, but also grow in our faith. This is a chance. And this is the chance to take it into the school year, to spread it among our peers, to spread the reality of the faith, not through any obnoxious or forceful way, not through any hatred or judgmental way, but through kindness, through love, through compassion, and through example, right? Example is a huge one. And whatever change we might be enduring in our lives, building a relationship with God, prayer. I know I'm repeating it because it is so necessary to know. So, now that the topic is done, I can barely talk. Now that the topic is done, do you all know what it is time for? Now, it's time for
the Saint of the Week.
And today's saint of the week is Saint Lawrence. Not only is Saint Lawrence's feast day coming up pretty soon, but when we're talking about change, something that kind of goes right along with that is this idea of courage, because it takes courage to start new things, to jump to freshman year in high school, to jump to freshman year in college, to jump to senior year in high school. It takes courage. Some change, it takes more courage than others, obviously, and it just depends on the person. But St. Lawrence is, just like many martyrs are, or all martyrs are, the definition of courage. He has that. So he's a 3rd century saint, and while not a lot is known about him, the details of his death were known to Ambrose and Augustine, and the church that was built over his tomb is now one of the 7 principal churches in Rome, and a favorite place for Roman pilgrimages, which is really, really cool. So during this time of the church, very early ages, it was very, very known that persecution was just a thing that happened, unfortunately, like it just was. Under the Roman Emperor, persecution was rampant for Christians. And Lawrence specifically, having been raised a Christian, devout to Christ, he was kind of known as having the material goods of the early church. So this included giving alms to the poor, like things like that. He was known for having those material goods. When he heard that his death was near, and he assumed soon that he would be martyred, he then gave away all his money, sold a lot of the material goods that he had for the church, and then also gave that money away to the poor. So he was incredibly generous, and simply because he took care of the material goods of the church, if that makes sense, at least to a degree. And so the emperor at the time heard of this and said, okay, the church must be rich. The Christianity, those Christians must be rich. They must have some sort of treasure. So Lawrence was called upon to offer this treasure for the emperor, to give this treasure, to give to Caesar what is Caesar's. He then gathered, I have it here, he gathered a great number of blind, lame, maimed, leprous, orphaned, and widowed persons. He put them in rows, and he presented it to the emperor, and he said, these are the treasures of the church. Like, how sick is that? That is so cool. Oh my goodness. To say the least, the emperor, Roman Empire, was not very pleased at that. Lawrence was martyred on the spot, or at least according to legend, on the spot. Whether he was martyred sometime after being imprisoned, that's a little bit debated on. But at least it's mainly agreed he was martyred on the spot after a great gridiron with coals put underneath it was like already there and prepared. He suffered a slow and painful death. Yet his courage to exemplify what the true treasures of the church are is just absolutely amazing. That it's not about money, that it's not about material things. It is about the people, and it is about the people of the church that is the treasure. And that's such a beautiful thing. And it's something that we need to understand, the lack of importance of material goods, of societal things, of earthly things, as we prepare for this upcoming school year, as we prepare for change. So before you guys click off this video, please click the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it. That way you get notified when I come out with a new video. I'm not just a YouTuber, I'm also a Catholic speaker. So if you want to book me to come and speak to your church, school, men's group, women's group, youth group, parish, you name it, please go ahead and do that. That would be absolutely lovely. Reach out to me directly at kidcatholic1@gmail.com or go to my website, kidcatholic.com, click the contact me page and email me from there. Please go to my website, kidcatholic.com. In general, there's so many awesome things you can do in there. You can read about me. All my videos are up there. It's great. Please check out all 3 of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description down below. And please comment any saint or topic suggestions that you might have for future videos. Guys, I hope you have had a phenomenal summer so far and have a great rest of your summer as it starts to wind down. This was Keaton of Kid Catholic. I will see you all next week, and hi, Brielle.